So when I built my X27s, I used the Coop's Bowsmith spine tester, and that is a great tool to use, especially with aluminum. Now, I'm going to show you something that I use for myself personally that does the job. It's much quicker, and all it really requires is a last chance bow press. Every time I have found my spine using this method, and I've used this method for years, I've essentially been able to never have to nock tune my arrows, and that's super important. My arrows all bend the same in the press, and then when I shoot them, they'll bend the same while I'm shooting them. Now, some people might have issues with that. If you do, that's when you will nock tune. For myself, I've never had an issue, maybe once in a blue moon. And if I do have an issue with an arrow that doesn't really line up with the spine mark and shoot like all the others through paper, I more or less will just not shoot it, not even shoot the arrow. Like, I more or less will just not shoot the arrow. I really won't. Like, because maybe one of the components is just kind of bent, or maybe I didn't square the ends of the arrow very well. Something is out of whack, potentially. So, or even clearance. So anyway, what I'm going to do is, I first saw this from Dan McCarthy on a video that's like over 10 years old. You can go look it up. Dan McCarthy did a video where he basically did the same test. It's on, I think it's on Last Chance Archery's page. Anyway, as far as the test, you're going to take 2 points, somewhat loose. These have a pretty tight fit. I kind of like that. Take the arrow full length, ram the press in. If you don't want to ram it like this, you can always grab a drill. So I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. Low speed setting. Something like that. Set your drill to the side without destroying anything. Cool. Now I'm just going to spin this in. Okay. Now, I've seen Dan do it like this. I'm potentially going to do it like that because I believe these are supposed to be pretty square surfaces. These surfaces on the press fingers will break your point before they break. But if you do it on the green press arms like I was about to do there, I feel like you can actually dent this material, this like coating on the side, and then you might get some sort of false reading. So what I'm going to do is, I have these just touching. I'm going to start pressing the arrow. So press up and out. Okay, cool. Spin it. It's pressing up. Cool, let's spin it. Pressing left. Pressing down, pressing right, pressing up. Awesome. Now what I like to do is, I get it where it's pressing straight up after testing all 4 locations. And then I'm going to take a Sharpie, and I'm just going to mark the top side of the arrow, right behind the label. It's usually a good place to put that. The reason why I do it behind the label is because I'm going to cut my arrow from both ends. So if I do it by the nock, it's not going to count. I'm going to cut it off. So full length also because you only have so much press room. If you cut them and then try to do it and it's too short, then you might run into some problems there. Awesome. So I want to repeat this process on all the arrows and then go from there. Okay. And make sure you test all 4 sides so you don't get a false reading. You don't want a false reading where it's like it bends in the same plane. It just bends down but won't bend up. If it does not bend up, down, left, and right, then I won't mark it. I'll fix the contraption setup until I get a correct reading. So these flat sections on the press, that's the way to go. So it looks like I'm here. Okay, it's going down now, okay. Good. Right, and back up. And spin that straight, and then just mark it. Perfect. These are going to fly so good. I just have a good feeling about it. Now, when I shot Black Eagles, the shafts were over 10 grains on the weight. They're pretty heavy. I think that's way too heavy for a 100 and definitely too heavy for a 200 grain point at the length I'm going to cut them. That's why 140, I really think is going to be the magic number. I could try 100s just to try it, and I probably should. Okay, as you can see, I'm really in tune with it. Okay. Sweet stuff, love this. Precision, my man. It's what we were looking for. Precision. Okay. Good. Potentially, what I'm going to do is I am potentially going to make sure that I don't have any of these etching marks where it says Pro. I want to make sure that that area is sanded when it goes over my rest. If it is in line with my rest, I do not want that going over my rest. So I want to sand that down potentially. So that would be something, if I was Easton, I would definitely consider. Whether that affects anything, I don't know. I know cutting from the back is going to help because the label's going to move back. One thing I've learned is the center 28 inches of the arrow is the best section to shoot. So I like cutting from both ends, at least a couple inches off both ends of a carbon arrow to make that work. Now when it comes to aluminum, I think aluminum is just so straight that's not even necessary. If I had a 30-inch draw, I would probably be able to shoot the X27s better because the FOC with a longer arrow would be less than like 15. So, and I would also have more speed with the setup, more in speed. So that's good stuff. Okay. Awesome. This is a lot faster than using a spine tester. Now, the biggest thing a spine tester can help you with, and I will be using a spine tester for this purpose. Not with these arrows, but for shooting anything outside. I really want to dial in the spine consistency between each arrow. So if I have one arrow that's like on the weaker side significantly or the stiffer side significantly, I'll either just not shoot the arrow or I'll create a couple of groups of arrows and I'll have a stiff group and a weak group. So if you shoot all of your arrows, maybe all of your arrows will have plus or minus 10 spine units. But if you just split your group in half, you could have two groups that have less than 5 spine units of consistency. So the left and right of your group will be more consistent at long distance. That's super important for 3D arrows, for outdoor arrows, shooting 23s, 25s, and like X10s, Pro Tours. So what I'm going to be doing for my 3D setup, I'm probably going to be running 23s, maybe 25s. We are shooting 60 yards this year in the known pro class in the ASA. So definitely going to be doing that with the Coops machine, making sure I have a consistent spring tension on every arrow so I can measure the data and then make data-driven decisions on that. So that's what I would do there. Now, for indoor, I don't think it's going to matter that much because it's only 20 yards. I really don't think it's going to matter that much doing that. You know, it's only 20 yards away. The arrow gets there pretty quick. So let's do this last arrow. Let me just take the arrow out. Just go random. Going straight right. Okay, I pressed it a ton that time. Interesting. Okay, I think that's good. Just to do a random test, I'm going to pick one of the arrows that I just did and press it very quickly to see if I have any differences pop up. Okay, let's align it with the spine mark. Here's the up. Okay. Yeah, I don't like that at all. You see how it's going up and down, up and down, up and down? So that's not good. I just did all of these arrows. One thing I have learned from watching Dan McCarthy do his arrows, he likes to bend them into the machine. I've noticed with the up and down, sometimes it flops. So that's the importance of double checking your process. On some arrows, I have done a lot of them up and down. but I have made some that go into the machine, like in towards the press. Based upon that, double checking, I think I'm gonna go straight into the press and see what happens. Okay, it's going up. That's going out. You gotta just press it very, very fast. Okay, diagonal up. That's good, that's good. Diagonal up. That's cool, okay. Diagonal down. Diagonal down. Should go into the press. Okay, so this position goes into the press. I'm gonna mark this with an X. Like a cross. Okay. Maybe it's something to do with the points. Points might be kind of bending. They seem pretty straight. Yeah, they're straight. Cool. I'm going to do these over again. So let's see about this one. So, okay. Our original spine mark is here. It goes straight up. So does it go into the machine? Wow. When I press it now, it goes away from the machine. That's pretty crazy. Okay, flip it the other way. It still goes the same direction. Flip it the other way. Still goes the same direction. That is not good, comprende. Okay, goes in. Now we do 180 degrees. It should go out. Okay, now we should go up. Should go into the machine. Should. But without any bias, does it? Okay. Does it go left? That's cool. Let's go down. Okay, can we reset the point off and do it again? Goes down, cool. Reset the point. Does it go right? It does. Cool. Does it go up? It does. Does it go left? It does. Okay. Double, triple check everything. This arrow was correct. This arrow was very consistent. Cool. I take this stuff very seriously. This is a very important aspect of consistency. I want to know that all of my arrows are bending the same way dynamically when they are released from the bow. Okay, does it go into the machine, okay? If I do a 180, goes out, awesome. If I go down, yep, go into the machine, cool. This arrow is super consistent. Depends on the arrow, or maybe it's just how you put the point on the machine, on the bow press. Okay, that's the up mark, it's the left, it's the right, it's the down. Okay, good. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of these and then we'll move on to the next step.